Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, our tribe began to feel the full weight of the famine bearing down on them. No longer is it a question of where we're going to find food, but rather if we're going to find food at all. It's starting to eat away at the hope of some of our strongest tribe mates, and it's clear that their darkest hour is upon them. But it's not all bad. We did attract the attention of one very old deity, and with Kirta around, there's a good possibility that he might just save us all. Kirta is known for his incredible digging skills. He probably roamed these very same mountains when he first made a name for himself, and I'm sure that he single-handedly fed his tribe. So once he grows a couple of extra gems, and assuming that we can find him some roots to dig up, he should be able to single-handedly feed our tribe as well. I'm sure that's going to be high on the mind of our bluebird leader. Van Ronu is going to have to try to sniff out some roots as they make their way to the peaks. We want this group to meet up with our others after all, just in case any danger spawns. If they're not all together, then it's going to be very, very hard for us to take down balance bears and walrus deers, so we have to keep that in mind too. But right now, let's see if we can find any roots to dig up. Oh, there is a root back here. Okay, Dasher, you might have to call out to let everybody know. I think we could probably move Duke Vanta over there to dig up that root, so maybe this turn won't be quite as painful as I figured. I know that Scrooge is over here letting him know the good news, and he must feel so much lighter right now. Maybe he would even consider this brand new root to be a gift from Kirta himself. So let's have Dasher try his best to carve out the snow. I guess he'll have to clear out these two patches, and hopefully that'll be enough for you to get through. It looks like you could make it there in one turn. We'll scoot you over to the hot spring and then have you jump in here. And who's splashing around in the hot springs right now? It must be our wanderers. I do know that Cuckoo is out here somewhere, and we're going to have to make sure that he doesn't try to touch our roots either. In fact, we might want to move Ginger into the front. We know that she would guard those roots with her life. But right now, Duke Vanta, just go ahead and dig up the root that we found, and that should allow 5 more creatures to settle down with a meal tonight. But tomorrow is going to be a different story. So I wonder if we could bring somebody over here to keep him warm, because if he's going to be so far away from his tribe on his final days, we might as well have him search for more roots while he's at it. I'm not sure that his old friend Cinnamon would be able to get there in time, but I suppose we could always try. Or we could just have Scrooge follow in his shadow. I mean, he has so much to tell him. Let's bring Scrooge right in between these two. That way they can all be warm together. Of course, Cinnamon isn't just going to pack his bags and leave. He's still going to go after his old friend too. In fact, with that big mammoth foot of yours, you should be pretty good at clearing out the snow. So let's bring him right up here, into the snowdrifts of course. In fact, maybe we could have Dasher clear the way for you. That way you can get around a bit more easily. And now all of our strongest smellers will be out searching for those roots. Now I think it's time that Van Ronu called out to Phoenix as well. We can have him flutter all the way to his leader's side, and we'll have him sniff around too to see if he can spy any roots. I'm hoping that maybe something has respawned up here in the meantime. I mean, our tribe hasn't visited these slopes in quite some time, so maybe we have a chance. But I don't want Van Ronu to get too far away from the babies, because he's going to have to light up the way for them too. His heat body means that he can stop all of the snow from piling up, so maybe we'll have Phoenix go a little bit further. Keep sniffing around as you go. Oh yes, there is a root right here. Oh, right behind that twiggy little bush. Okay, if we can bring one of you in there to melt the snow around it, that would probably be for the best. So, Phoenix only has 1 turn remaining. I think that means it's going to have to be you, Van Ronu. Oh no! Oh, not the rocks again! Well, good thing you uncovered that right now, because that's the last thing we want Kirta to run into. So as Van Ronu stays right here to melt the snow around the root, I think we'll have Phoenix flutter on back to the babies instead. Let's just see how far we can move them first. With their single gems, we have to be super careful, and we have to make sure that we keep Kirta warm. So we could have Coco maybe scoot up here, and then Kirta should be able to follow quite easily. I wonder if now would be a good time for her to purr too, just to make sure that magic doesn't wear off anytime soon. I know these creatures already technically have it on them, but hard days are definitely coming, so we want to keep it around as long as possible. I suppose we could have Coco pick up the snow right here, that way her daughter Evergreen can toddle to her side. And then as Clove settles down on top of the stump, gazing around her to search for her mate perhaps. She might as well even clear out the snow around her too, making it easier for Scrooge to return to her side, because she knows he's not going to abandon her. And then with your final turn, Coco, let's have you purr for everybody, so they should all be nice and safe. Oh, maybe we should have brought Phoenix down here too. He probably could have used a little bit of that purring magic. But with his beta rank, I'm hoping that he'll be able to survive this day without taking any damage. I guess we might as well settle him down right on top of this stump. That way there won't be any snow between Kirta and the root. And then it's finally time for us to climb the peaks again. And sniff around right away to make sure that nobody stole our roots. I still see them down in the snowdrift, so it looks like it's okay. I guess the wanderers must have climbed their way down the cliffs. Maybe they even went off to the glaciers to inspect the ice and bring back some information for us if they're melting. But I'm afraid that won't be happening anytime soon, and I'm sure that's something that Sunrise can sense. Now, he has received a message about Whale Island, and that's why he's trying to urge his tribe mates to go down to these ports. This might be the one and only island that can save us. If we can't find enough roots to survive on, I know that we can definitely gather enough food on Whale Island for sure. So that's the direction that we want everybody to head in. I guess we could probably have Pala help him dig out all of the snow, and she can crack the rocks that might hinder our tribe's path. So let's have her scoot her way into the front, that way she can clear out the snowdrifts leading to the hot springs. And then why don't you do a little bit of sniffing around too, just to see if there are any more roots about? So far, I don't see any, but I'd imagine there has to be some food down here somewhere. We haven't explored this side of the island in a very, very long time, so surely something has spawned in the meantime. Now, Pala isn't quite fast enough to make it down to the snowdrift, but we can at least settle her down right here. And then it's time for our tribe to start digging out the roots that they did manage to find. The very meager feast that Jingle will have to dig up on the next turn. I suppose if we clear out the snow right around this tile, that would probably be for the best. So maybe it's time for us to bring Duke Nukier over there? This might actually be his last chance to spend with his mate too. And she has set herself up right on a nest. So as our last opportunity to breed these two, I think it's something we're going to risk. It might seem a little bit counterproductive since we don't have enough food to support a new baby, but I'm sure that the next few turns are going to wipe out half of this tribe anyways, and we're going to need some very young and strong creatures to take over. And not only that, but with those wings, they would be the most helpful of pathfinders. They might even be able to help us take down some bluebirds in the future too. Bluebirds do provide us with plenty of meat, so Anako, this is a risk that we are willing to take. We'll have her settle down inside her newly repaired nest. Maybe this is even a trick that she learned from Clove a few days ago. Fear must be filling her heart right now, not only for her son and her mate, but the future of her unborn child as well. She knows that she won't have very long to teach them, and she knows without a doubt that she would give up her food for them in an instant. I suppose that Dancer could probably soothe her mind. She'll promise that she'll keep them safe too. We might even bring Dancer over here so she can help clear out the snowdrifts. Ah, revealing another stone for Pala, I see. Well, that must have been an unpleasant surprise. Dancer is known for flattening down the snow with her nimble steps, but a stone in the snow must have really hurt her paws. All the more reason for her to settle down by the nest, I guess. And now we should be safe to bring Duke Nukier into the snow too. Let's bring him right to the front. That way... Oh no, Cuckoo! Did you steal our root? Okay, it's still there, but there is no way that this is going to stand. Oh, I am going to feel so bad getting rid of him, but at the same time, we can't possibly let him steal our food. We're going to have to bring Duke Nukier over here. That way we'll leave room for Ginger, because she's much stronger, and she should be able to take care of him in just one swipe. Oh, that is heartbreaking. Did Ginger know Cuckoo? I mean, he did hang around the nursery a lot, but I can't quite remember if he showed up by the time Ginger had left. So if you guys know, then feel free to remind me, because that would make this story even more tragic. But we knew from the very beginning that she was going to guard this food with her life. And now, Duke Nuke, please help us dig out these poor creatures. I feel like maybe we should bring Ginger a little bit further down, though. I mean, we don't want her in the way of the roots either. And I guess, honestly, that's probably a good space for Duke Nuke anyways. He's going to be melting the snowdrift, so Jingle can still grab the food. Oh no! You know what I just realized? We wanted to leave these two next to Jingle because he's going to get too cold. Oh no, we're going to waste one of his turns? That is such a bummer. He should still be able to grab a couple of fruits for us, but it's not going to be quite enough. Well, we still have Kirta at least, and we still have that route that Van Ronu is tracking down. And I think we could probably scoot you back just one more tile. You'll be deep in the snow, of course, but it's all for the greater good. Let's even bring you right here so you could just melt all of that snow entirely. So for the first time, we're going to be skipping a day without enough food to feed our tribe. But those who are sacrificing their meals today are giving us a chance to live on. They will be remembered and honored in our tribe's legacy. It looks like Cinnamon was the first to succumb to starvation. Oh, the poor thing. But at least he was close to all of his friends. And at least you guys can start searching for some more roots to feed the tribe. I don't see a single one out here though. You guys are going to have to go charging into the darkness. It's not something that Scrooge would often indulge in. He is a bit more selfish, so you would think he would turn back to save himself. Turn back to save his mate even. But I think in this case, he knows he has to bring back food for his babies. So let's have Dasher use his turn to open this gate, and then we should be able to have Scrooge jump ahead as well. And before we go any further, let's just make sure that nobody's up here stealing our roots again. Ginger has never been so on edge in her life. We're good though. All of the roots are still available to us. And while Jingle is still feeling a bit cold, we should be able to bring him straight in between these two so he can dig up one of these roots. 2 pieces worth of food. I guess that's going to be going into our babies' bellies for sure. But let's see if you guys can find anything. Maybe once again Duke Fanta will be able to ease the pain of this turn. We'll have to bring Dasher to the front. It looks like he took a little bit of that starving damage as well. And while Duke Fanta can't really travel quite as far, we'll have to bring him as close as he can get. Oh my gosh, there is a root up there. Oh no, can you not get to it in time? They both only have a 1 turn left on them. I wonder if we could bring maybe Phoenix over here? He has 3 turns worth of energy, so he might be able to dig out the snowdrift. But then he would be stuck there and he'd be blocking him. Oh no, are we really just going to be 1 turn away from a delicious root? That is such a tease. How much do you want to bet Melody put that there herself? Reminding our tribe as always that if they don't stick together and work as a team, they're only going to meet failure in the end. To be honest, I'm not even sure that Phoenix would be able to help anyways because Duke Fanta only has a movement speed of 3. So this is literally as far as he can go. Oh my gosh, that is such a bummer. Well, I guess the least we can do is make sure that they all stick together, and especially keep Scrooge warm. He might be able to get back to his family yet, and I guess we could always have Dasher stay here to try to dig up the root. It'll only be worth 1 point for him, but it's gotta be better than nothing. I don't think that they smelled any shells in the water either, and to be honest, I'm pretty much over looking for food in the water. I mean, there are the occasional piranha fish, and we did find some normal fish down here too, but it's way too scarce to rely on. So if we do end up going to Whale Island and coming back to this island later, at least we know that we have to focus on our digging trunks. Now, Kirta, are you by any chance fast enough to get up to that root on this turn? Something tells me he'll probably need an extra day. Yeah, he can only travel about this far, but that does set him up straight on top of the route that we need. So that's 7 pieces worth of food waiting for us now. The next turn will definitely be easier. I had mentioned before that Kirta might be the god of abundance, since he is able to provide us with such a feast. But a lot of you mentioned that he could also be maybe the god of the earth, and I can definitely see him being known as a little earth spirit. It's interesting too because we so often use these roots to bury our tribe mates, so I'm sure that could be worked into a story too. Maybe Kirta is even the one who began the act of digging out those graves. Those who sacrificed themselves to ensure that the tribe would be fed were honored as he set their souls to rest. So I would imagine that his presence not only gives us food, but it also brings peace to our tribe mates. Peace to perhaps combat the vengeful ways of Melody herself. Now let's bring Van Ronu up here. We'll have him clear out the snow, settle down beside the baby, and definitely sniff around, just to see if any more roots have spawned. I know this side of the mountain isn't very plentiful, we know that from experience, but if we could only follow our nose toward those delicious roots, this would probably be a good pathway for us to meet up with our tribe mates as well. But we need to have the others catch up with them for sure, and I know that Evergreen would be very eager to step in Kirta's shadow. She feels a deep connection to the old god, maybe because the two were born on the same day, but the hardship will surely bring them together too. Now as we have Coco go ahead and purr for Phoenix, so he'll have the healing magic as well. Goodness knows you're going to need it today, little guy. I'm sure she would try her best to pull Clove away from the stump, but I think she's still feeling a little bit too reluctant. She knows that Scrooge can't be too far away, and she refuses to leave without at least knowing that he's safe. So all Coco can really do is chase after her daughter. Maybe she could even pick up a few of these flowers. Goodness knows tonight is going to be very hard on them all, so maybe that would be a good way to ease her daughter's mind. She's already taught her how to purr like the greatest of healers, so she knows that Evergreen is going to do her proud. She just wishes that she could have spent more time with her daughter, rather than just watching from afar. At least Phoenix can flutter his way all the way up to the hot spring. That should definitely help you find some more roots, right? Oh, nothing has spawned around here. That is so disappointing. Well, go ahead and start clearing out the pathway. Maybe you can get just one step ahead of your leader to help light the path for the next turn. Now, I didn't forget that Phoenix has a brand new little sibling. Oh! And it looks like she actually has the poison fangs. The poison fangs and the stripes. Yes, and she has the big body too. Oh my gosh, that is perfect. That is going to take away from her flying ability a little bit, but if we do see a bluebird spawn, she could actually be our little warrior in the skies. And how fitting too that she actually carries both the stripes and the poison fangs. She is actually technically part of Adam's family, so it's almost as if he's showing that he hasn't given up on us. She must be a very good sign to them just for that reason. She proves that Adam believes we can still make it to the home island. With those giant fangs of hers, I feel like we need to name her after some sort of bird of prey, so we're going to name this baby Kestrel. A mighty name to perhaps summon the bluebirds, so she can challenge them in the skies. Now let's have Pala go ahead and crush that pesky rock so it won't be getting in the way anytime soon. After all, that baby is going to need a very, very good run-up so she can learn how to fly. Learn how to soar in the skies just like the bluebirds. Now, should we continue going this way? This would lead us toward the ports, so I can't see Sunrise changing his mind now. He is still absolutely 100% convinced that this is their only choice, and Pala is behind him every step of the way. She doesn't have any healing magic on her, so maybe now would be a good time for Anako to skitter up from her nest, and we can have her purr for all of these creatures too. Then Pala, you can clear out the snow and try your best to follow your brother. He is definitely getting a little bit eager, but can you smell anything out this far? Ooh, there are some roots. Yes, excellent. Okay, so we won't be going completely hungry as we make our way to the ports. I guess he's veered off a little bit from his intended path, so this must be his father's way of guiding him in the right direction. It's all part of those visions, which he might not even have sensed were it not for profit. So now we only have Ginger, we have Duke Nuke here, and we have Dancer too. We want her to stay by the nest though, because I don't think this baby is going to have her parents when the day is done. So I guess we'll have her skitter on over to this side. That way she should be able to light up the way for her friend Jingle. She's probably so worried about him too, but little does he know, she's been treating herself with a little less care. She's been giving up her food to keep the babies fed, and with Kestrel in the nest now, she has no intention of eating tonight. With the way that these two had traveled side by side in their youth, I do feel like there's a bit of a bond there. Maybe even the potential for their families to grow, and since she does have the home island gene, we might want to do that sooner rather than later. We do need to make sure that that stays strong in the tribe too. So I guess from here, we'll just have you guys clear out the snow, keeping Jingle as warm as can be, and making sure that he can get to those roots as quickly as possible. Dancer's going to stay right there, and then we just have you, Clove. Let's have her scoot her way down the hot springs. I think she's finally made her choice. She's going back to search for her mate. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? There's actually a route right here now? That is so disappointing. Oh my gosh, Clove, if only you had gone sooner. We definitely would have been able to bring Duke Fanta back for that. Well, I guess all you can really do is try to paw it up then. Take a little rest as you search for your mate. And now for what might be the most painful turn of this entire series so far. I would imagine that quite a few of our tribe mates are going to pass away today due to starvation. Oh my gosh, that sound. And look at all of those creatures who have left us. Oh my goodness, how are we even going to count all of the fallen? Now Dasher, you're all alone? Oh no, Scrooge has passed? Clove, you weren't fast enough. Oh my gosh, that is so sad. Well, Dasher, you have to come over here and try to dig up that root. I mean, we can't let this all be in vain, can we? It's what Duke Fanta would have wanted. And you, Clove, forever searching for your lost mate? Now all you can do is paw at the ground too, and try to get that one little morsel of food. But at least we have this route. We have this waiting for you, Kirta, so grab that as soon as you can. And that should be 7 pieces of food. 7 of our creatures fed on the next turn, so we won't ever have to experience that much pain at once. Jingle, you better do the same. I know that you have another route right next to you, and then we'll have to bring you a bit closer to sunrise next. In fact, let's see if we were lucky enough to see the spawning of any more roots. We have this one right here, that one by Dasher, but definitely nothing new. Well then, let's just work at getting Jingle somewhere safe and warm. We'll bring him as far as he can go. Maybe he could even settle down inside the hot spring. That way not as many creatures will have to worry about him. He'll be super close to the roots too, so I think this is probably the best place for him to set up. Then it's up to you, Pala. Check all of those snowdrifts for rocks, please. And we'll have Dancer bring up the rear. Nudge the little baby out of the nest. Oh, poor Kestrel. Her very first day on the island and she's already taken some damage. She is being raised in a time of hardship, but it'll only strengthen her resolve. I would imagine that today is probably going to be Ginger's last day too, as she is one of the Omegas, so she'll be giving up her food. Let's have her get as close as she can. Maybe she can at least shovel out a few more of those pathways, and she can help by keeping the little baby warm. Thank goodness for the purring magic of her mother, the one last thing that she has to remember Anako by. And likewise, the one last thing that our true healer has to remember her mother is those tiny little white flowers that she picked. Seeing them here must give her the strength to go on, because she knows that her mother is watching over her too. So maybe she can help lead Kirta to some roots? Let's actually bring him as far as he can go. That way he can use his digging trunk to really sniff around. So with the passing of another day comes the passing of more tribe mates, inevitably as our oldest grow weaker and weaker from starvation. But maybe this time our ancestors will offer us a gift? We can only hope that they've littered the ground with more roots. To be honest, I was hoping that a bluebird would spawn, because at least Kestrel is old enough now that she could actually attack it. You know, I kind of feel like we should probably give her the orange gems, since she is so clearly connected to Adam, and since Duke Nukier was a direct descendant from him anyways. If anyone deserves the bluebird feathers, it might actually be her. These two will probably cross paths too at some point, so I wonder if Van Roney was going to notice that too. Maybe that would even be his chance to take himself off the rank of alpha, so he could give up his food for those who need it more. Let's go ahead and sniff around. Please tell me that some new roots have spawned. Oh, I don't see anything new, just the ones that we found before. But at least it's something, Jungle. Come on down here and grab both of those roots for us. 4 more pieces of food to just barely keep us alive. With the amount of creatures that have passed away over the past few days, I can't imagine that we're going to be able to bury them all. Their souls might remain trapped here until we return again, with both the experience and the food to conquer this island properly. Before we do end the episode though, I just want to see if these creatures are going to find any roots out here. I guess if we bring Phoenix to the front. Oh, he could actually flutter all the way over to the other half of the tribe now. He could relay messages between them. He could share the news about Kirta perhaps. And he'll get the chance to meet his new little sister too. He is going to be very, very impressed with you. But for now, we're just going to bring him to the front of our group, because all that really matters is finding more roots. So our tribe is still struggling along. It's not easy, but at least we still have our most important genetics still within our tribe. We have plenty of creatures who are carrying the home island gene, so we're not going to lose that anytime soon. And I wouldn't be surprised if, with the confrontation between Dancer and Jingle waiting in the next episode, maybe they'll even start their tiny little family now. Dancer's going to need to have a baby soon anyways, with only 8 days remaining on her lifespan, and another day's worth of starvation waiting in her future. She is definitely running out of time to become the mother she always wanted to be. At least she'll be enough to keep Kestrel safe. And in fact, let's have her scoot right up to this tile. You could even flutter on down to the hot springs so you'll be nice and toasty warm. I'd imagine with her swimming tail, she might not be able to resist the colds. Oh, and she can light up the way to more roots? Oh my gosh, how lucky is that? The poison fangs aren't very good at smelling, so if those weren't directly next to you, you wouldn't have noticed them at all. Well, you're gonna have to call out to Sunrise for sure, and maybe he can summon the ancestors for us in the next episode too. It would be nice if he could convince them to bring us the bluebirds that we're longing for, because I think those are worth 20 points of food apiece. We know that Kestrel is up for the challenge, we just need a bird for her to fight. So for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!